This is Captain Tinsley, Salty Abandon, with another Salty podcast where it's always a great day to talk about sailing. And this is episode 23. Unbelievable. Just started this a few months ago. We're already at 23. And on this episode, we got a couple of local characters. They're you're about to meet them, and they just recently made a trip from Orange Beach, Alabama to Crystal Springs. And I wanted to do some local stuff, about local marinas, local anchorages. So I'm going to bring these two guys out now and introduce you to them. Hey, Bill and Mike Wack. How are you tonight?
We're good. We're good. How are you? It's a little bit bouncy out here, though, today. 2 to 4s at the minimum.
2 to 4s. Oh. I think that's fake. What do you think? I said it in the introduction, you guys are a couple of local characters. So tell us where you're from, Bill, starting with you. Where are you right now?
I'm in Orange Beach, Alabama, right down here by the Cotton Bayou Creek waterway system on a 30-foot polecat fishing boat at the wheel and 2 to 4 foot seas in the canal right now.
Seriously? He's faking it.
Not a word of that was true.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to hear him. He's breaking up. But hey, Mike.
Not a word of what Bill Bollinger said was true. Right. He's sitting somewhere in a bar having a rum. Like Captain Morgan, actually.
He's on a boat. He's freezing up, but we're going to try to catch some words from him. But Mike, otherwise known as Wacky, tell us where you are. And
I am sitting on my second island packet, Cajun Beauty 3. Cajun Beauty 2 is actually in a landfill thanks to Hurricane Sally. And me and Bill Bollinger just returned in this boat, about 2 weeks ago from a quick 720-mile round trip. It was Crystal River, not Crystal Springs. Crystal River.
So sorry.
Crystal River. Because the mayor just called me and said you got it wrong.
Oh, right? Really? Oh, my God. I'll try to correct that in all the social media. By the way, don't get nervous, but we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 social media profiles live. Coming to you from Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. So let's get right into it. Where did you start? You started from Orange Beach?
Ono Island.
Ono Island in Orange Beach. And what was just a little bit, we'll come back to it, a little of your prep work. How long did you prepare for this trip?
I prepared long enough to get Bill Bollinger to agree to go with me so I would not die at sea.
Okay.
It's just pretty much most of his life.
Right. Okay.
He's been preparing for this all his life. Yeah.
Right. He's been a sailor all his life. But I think the reason you really wanted someone with you is because of that Gulf crossing, right?
Yes. I've been coastal sailing my entire life. This is my 4th sailboat, but my nicest one. But I've gone from port to port, and I've gone from island to island, but I've never done an overnight sail. But thanks to Bill Bollinger, I did 3 in the past couple of weeks. One night on the way there from Apalachicola to Crystal River, and 2 nights on the way back because we were trying to beat some really bad weather back.
Right. And we'll get into that. So, any other prep work? Did you service a boat? How did you provision? What was going on there with your prep work?
I over prepped. I packed for way more than what we had. And the single biggest mistake I made is I don't have a refrigerator. I just have an ice box. And we knew we'd have some stops on the way where we may not even be able to buy ice. So the day before I left, I put ice in my ice box, let it melt. Then I put 10 pounds of dry ice in my ice box and 2 bags of ice on top of it and all of my stuff. And it worked perfectly, except it froze my engine, and it was hard to start my engine when it was time to leave.
What? Okay, just for reference here, Mike was a banker, and he's an over prepper, I would say. Wouldn't you say, Bill?
I'd say
He's-
that's probably, yeah.
He's not a fly by the seat of your pants kind of guy, right?
Yeah. He called everybody before he left to make sure he wasn't forgetting anything. He has a thing that goes, you know who I sent that to? I said, who? Everybody.
It's like a float plan, right? It was like a float plan.
But
Yeah,
it worked
got
out
our
okay.
float plan? Who? Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got it by text. So
That was my, and then he started sending I've got the InReach Mini 2, which shameless advertising pitch for the InReach Mini 2. Awesome little tiny unit, but everybody got the InReach Mini 2 progress map from him too at the same time.
That's right. Like if something was going down and there was problems, you were sinking or something, people were going to be able to find you, right?
That's right.
Okay. And also quickly, how I met the two of you, how I met Bill was at Bear Point Marina. I had my first, I guess when I met you, did I have the second boat, the Island Packet 27?
No,
or did I?
You were on the cockpit,
Catalina 25.
a laptop in your lap with this boat that you just put in the water like days before that, and you hadn't even sailed it yet, but you were busy selling a condo, and you looked up and asked me if I was going to be available to go sailing once because you've never put the sail up before or something along those.
I'm not sure that's okay, Bill. All right.
It was way back. It was way back.
All right, and then Mike Wacky. For those that don't, it says Wacky right there, so people might not know. Mike Wack is your name. You contacted me because you were following me on Salty Abandon, right?
Yes, I was looking for an island packet, and I had looked at a bunch of island packet 27s online, but the first one I saw in person was yours. Your 27 parked at Bear Point Marina, and you were nice enough to let me go there 3 or 4 times to look at it myself, and one time with my wife, because I figured if I bought a boat she didn't like, that would be a really bad idea.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, you came out several times. You took measurements because you were trying to make sure it fit at the little dock behind your house on Ono Island. So that's how we met, and we've all stayed. I haven't seen Bill in a while, but you helped me out a lot with different repairs, so I appreciate that. And you're always available for advice. Yeah, there was a lot of advice asking. So tell me, you guys left early in the morning, and where'd you go?
Wait, you have to ask each question and point your finger at me or Bill. I would prefer you pointed at Bill because he's much smarter than me, but ask your questions to a particular person.
Okay, well, I was looking at you, but I can look at Bill. Okay, Bill, Bill, tell us where you start. What you left in the morning? Where'd you go?
We started off at sunrise, headed straight east into a breeze. So we decided to stay in the canal for a while, and we actually worked our way all the way across Pensacola Bay and back into the intercoastal. And stuck with that. So I think it was Fort Walton Beach. Fort Walton's where we first stopped. Yeah. So we just got inside the bridge there and the Waxahachie Bay bridge and found a nice little marina there the first night. And we were blessed with right head on the nose winds the first 3 days. So it was kind of some limited sailing, a little bit of motor sailing when we were lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't go through there anymore because of my mast is too tall now to go under that. What's it called, Mike? That bridge?
Brooks Bridge.
Right at Fort Walton.
Brooks
Bridge. Yeah.
You can fit. It's 50 feet. I've checked.
Right.
I measured it with a tape measure and a laser and 3 local carpenters. You can fit. You have 1 foot to spare.
I would be very scared to do that, but
you can fit.
So the narrows are there. I remember the narrows. You're like you're having to do a lot of turning, right there before you get to that bridge.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool. There's like a restaurant across there. Did you guys eat or anything? Because that's what people love that stuff. Did you go across the street to that little Oyster House or whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
One of my friends, until recently, owned all the dolphin boats in Destin, including the big pirate ship. And his favorite restaurant was right across the street from Brooks Bridge Marina. So we went over there, and it was great. Well, I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but the food was terrific.
Yeah, it was kind of a hole in the wall.
Crab flounder. The crab stuffed flounder was incredible. Yeah.
Cool. And we can't remember the name of it, but if you're staying at Brooks Bridge Marina, you just go right across the little highway there, and it's right there. And I remember they had really good bathrooms.
Yes. The only place that did.
They had the hit first thing going on. Yeah.
They had the what?
It was some tricky signage. I can't remember what they called it. Yes, but they had some tricky signage on the bathroom doors.
Okay. Were you confused about which bathroom to go into, Bill?
Something like along those lines.
Okay. All right. And if I remember, they had a little store, and there wasn't a lot in the store. I don't know if it's changed. It's been a few years. There was some, you could get snacks and maybe some oil or something. Is that right?
We got ice and we moved on.
Okay.
They also had an incessant pounding of a pile driver that will be going nonstop, I think already for 6 months and probably for the next year and a half, putting a new bridge lane up there. So it's not really a place to stop right now because you'll have to listen to the pile driver all day long. But they quit
at dark.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that can be kind of nerve-wracking. You heard it right here on the Salty Podcast about the pile driving that's going on over there at Brooks Bridge. Okay, and so then what happened? You moved on the next day.
Bill?
Where'd you go?
Whoever. We went to Panama City, but we went too slow because of a headwind to make it before the marina we were supposed to go to closed. So we went to a marina that was a week from reopening from Hurricane Michael. And I had the phone number, and I think I got it from you. His name was Christopher Gay, and it was Sun something Marina, Sunbridge or Sun something. But we were the first actual boat ever parked there that wasn't working on the new docks.
Was this after you, did you continue up the intercoastal after Panama City?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, was it right before a bridge?
Yes.
Yes, right after a bridge.
Right after.
Under a bridge.
South something, wasn't it? South Point or...
I can't look it up now because I'm using my only technology at my senior citizen's age is my iPhone. I have my itinerary on the iPhone, but I'd have to look at it. It was called Sun something Sunbridge or Sun something Marina.
Yes.
But it was owned by Christopher Gay.
Nice pirate restaurant with a deck that had just closed down because somebody else had bought it, and it will be reopening soon.
Yes.
Okay. Sun.
And because the marina was brand new, we had no electricity, no water, no bathrooms, no showers. So we jumped in the swimming pool of a condo that was right there.
Okay.
And we lost Bill.
All right. Yeah, we lost Bill.
Sun Harbor.
He's looking on his phone, I think.
Yeah,
Marina.
Sun Harbor.
Sun Harbor Marina.
And it's going to be, and the guy let me stay there. We sent him pictures, and he says he's going to post it on his website. We were the first, I guess, non-paying customers because he did not charge us.
Wow.
But it was a 400 slip marina, and we were the only boat there.
First one to ever tie up. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I've ever been to that one.
He
okay,
knew you.
well, maybe he follows the channel or something. Who knows? But I don't. Yeah, I just looked it up. I don't think so. Anyway.
Yeah, it's at the perfect corner because if you're coming around the corner from Panama City, coming through the canal, in order to get out to the Gulf or to the next leg of the canal, you have to go right past his corner. So
right. And that's another, isn't that another 50-foot bridge right there? Or is that one 62?
Right.
Big bridge.
Okay. Okay.
It's
All right. So cool. So I my last couple of stays were at Treasure Island Marina. So you didn't make that one. You could have
They
because
were
you.
closed.
I remember. I know, but remember I said that you could just stay on the T dock, and it's easy for you just to pull up, and it's on the end of the,
oh, it was
but
also
you didn't want to.
from the inside. It was an extra hour and a half to get in and out of there.
Yeah. You're right. It is out of the way. Okay. All right. So was that a good experience? Because I like to include information, and I've never stayed there. So was that bathrooms, food? How was all
There
that
was
stuff?
nothing there.
There's
Oh,
a
that's right.
hotel with a swimming pool and bathrooms at their swimming pool that we kind of pirated our way into off the dock. Yeah.
But when he
That's right.
opens, his facility looks like it has an entire building with 8 or 10 showers for men, 8 or 10 showers for women, an upstairs clubhouse, a ship store. They just weren't open yet. And the guy was incredibly nice. He called me twice
Okay.
to make sure we were okay and found a good spot in his marina. His name was Christopher Gay.
Okay.
What
Well,
was it
shout
called?
out to Christopher at Sun Harbor Marina in
Yes.
Panama City. And the best part about it was the price. You
Yeah,
didn't
we
have to
were
pay
free.
anything.
Because the next
I
night
think
we
it'll
slept
be
in a
about
marina with none of the
$150
stuff, but they charged us.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Your friend
Okay, well-
George. George.
Oh, George did.
Yeah, George had no bathrooms, no showers, no toilet.
I told him that, Bill, just for the record. I told him that. Okay.
Okay. But we wanted that.
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, Okay, so you go through the intercoastal, and your next stop was Port St. Joe or what?
Apalachicola.
Oh, you didn't stop till Apalachicola.
Correct.
Okay.
We stayed there 2 days waiting for good weather.
Okay, and you stayed at the dock, at George's dock, which is
At the ice
Apalachicola
house.
dock. Yeah, at the ice house. And just 'cause Apalachicola Marina used to be open until Hurricane Michael. I used to stay there, and then the owner, George, decided not to reopen it, and they've since sold all that. Some big marinas coming in with hotels or condos or something. They bought a bunch of that waterfront property there. So I found the dock by he's in all like the waterway guide or whatever. And I showed up and I was like, oh, okay, there's nothing here, but you got water and you got power, right? And so I was grateful for it because I didn't want to go any further.
Yes.
But he always
And it was, wait, stop. And it was right in the middle of downtown Apalachicola.
yeah.
And here's a commercial for Apalachicola. I've never been there, and it is a time capsule of old Florida. It was lovely. It's half of the buildings are historically significant. There were lots of bars for my co-captain, and there were lots of bars for my co-captain. Good
Did you say
food
oysters,
at multiple restaurants.
Okay, yeah, lots of good oysters there too, right? That's the it's the I got my Apalachicola shirt on.
Oh,
In your honor.
Oh, look. Wait, Pirates Cove, local stuff.
Riff Raff. Okay, yeah.
Pirates Cove.
Shout out to the No Good Grillin' Cafe too. It's good. Bar and Grill. Yeah. The No
Is that
Good
in
Bar and
Apalachicola?
Grill.
The No Good Bar and Grill. All right. You heard it here.
It was darn good.
Captain Tinsley, you and I talked before I left. I had fun in Apalachicola, and your guidance helped me a lot. It's a pretty little town. Everybody's friendly. And we did the straight shot out and on the way back through Government Cut that nobody wanted to do. We were the first boat, I think, that went through after they finished the dredging, but there were no channel markers.
That would be me that went through that.
There were no channel markers.
Sailboat. Since they re-dredged it and they had all the markers up, and so they hadn't got a chance to put them down yet when we went out. And when we came back in, we just used our track from going out so that we could make sure we found that same channel again. And then we got closer and they had gotten the marks back out. But That was
Yeah,
interesting.
so I came through it after my 30-hour fiasco going across the Gulf, and I couldn't get in to Carabel, that pass right there. I guess it's
Yeah.
called the East Pass. I could not, my boat, I was not running on full power, and I couldn't turn back into the waves. So I ended up going down, and I had Scott. I was on my InReach Explorer. Yeah. I had
Yeah.
Scott call George, and I said, can I get in government cut? Because I'd always been, everybody said, no, 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 no. But he said, they just dredged it. You can come in. And I went sailing through that thing. So apparently it used to be like, you had to have local knowledge because it would go like, you had to go in
there's
and
a
out of
tide.
all the
You have to turn.
Yeah.
You have to
You
turn.
had to have, well, it was a lot worse before. I don't remember having to turn, but I was so happy that thing was there. I was so thrilled. But that has really added to the experience of getting across there.
Yeah, I think I felt a couple of crab backs scrape under the keel on our way through there in one spot. Yeah.
What was our shallowest water going through there, Bill?
Huh?
What was our shallowest water going
I
through
think we
government
had
cut?
6 inches under the keel, maybe for a little bit.
Yes.
6
Tinsley, I
inches?
think the channel is there, but I don't think the new channel is marked because we followed the old channel going out and coming back. We had less than a foot of water under my keel for about 100 yards.
Yeah.
Wow. It may have filled back in, because we've had some storms here since I've gotten back, like, 6 months. I hope it doesn't continue to do that because I love that. Government cut is awesome. I was real happy that George said, "Oh, it's great. Come on through." And what I like about George, we got to give a shout out to George. I'm by myself usually. Yeah, he'll come out and help me, tie up. And he brought me food last time.
Wow.
Like he brought me a whole plate, like covered with different dishes and everything.
Right.
And I had not been hungry because 30 hours I didn't want to eat anything with the waves I was in. And by the time I came in and got into Apalachicola Bay, I was ready to eat. So
he was our landlord for 2 nights. He came out to the dock. He talked to Bill. He talked to me. He was a nice man. Well,
yeah.
I don't know George's last name.
I have it somewhere. It's just George.
Myself,
Like
my itinerary says Apalachicola Dock George.
So speaking of food, Tinsley, a little factoid. I've been a fan of the Appalachian oyster for quite a while because they even have them up in Wicksburg at our hunting camp at the hot dog joint up there. So anyway, when I asked about them, they got wiped out in the hurricane, and so now all their oysters, the best ones come from the Indian Pass, or Canoe Pass. Is it called? What's that? Yeah, what's that called?
Where's that?
It's
Indian
the West
Pass.
The West Pass. There's a little pass on the West Beach, and you can't get through it.
Yeah, further west in Apalachicola Bay, right over in there. Yeah, I've eyeballed that one too.
You can't go out that way; it's too shallow.
Yeah,
right,
you can't
right.
But a canoe, that's why it's called Canoe Pass. I think it's called Canoe Pass. Anyway, that's where all the farmed oyster beds are now. And
good to know.
Appalachian oyster, it's a wild oyster, and it'll cost you about $10,000 to eat one of those because it's illegal to pick them. Yeah, so don't. Yeah, you gotta.
Okay.
Yeah, go down to Canoe Pass and get you some farm raised oysters down there. They're really good. The oysters were fantastic.
And it'll cost you $10,000. I love it. And you heard it here on the Salty Podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 2 days. You had a good time at Apalachicola. You drank a few beers. You ate some oysters. Hopefully you bought a T-shirt or something. Then what happened?
I was gonna, but they were having a private party in the T-shirt little sales area of the store, so I couldn't get my T-shirt. I know.
Okay, that's always a goal of mine.
What about the?
What about
Mike,
the what?
What was the restaurant with the dock? Uh-oh.
at the dock.
What was
What?
the restaurant called? The first one we went to with the couple that took us in their golf cart. We got a nice golf cart ride to the. Oh, they roll up. Beware, they roll up the sidewalks on Sunday in Apalachicola and Monday as well. So if you're looking for a place to eat, you'll have two choices on Sunday and Monday. And we ran into a couple on the street in the golf carts, and they drove us about a mile to the really marina restaurant.
Half shell.
Is it on the water?
On the water, the marina up from the ice house.
Scipio Creek Marina, half shell restaurant.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
That one was closed too on certain days.
Yeah, well, they're open on Sunday and Monday this time because I think they're the only ones. Their oyster Rockefeller was really good.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
And they were the only place there with diesel fuel. And I walked there with my 5-gallon yellow can, and a nice guy there jumped me in a golf cart and brought me back twice.
All right. What's that marina? What is that called? Scipio. Yeah. I kept my boat there for about a couple of weeks. That's a great place to stay, by the way. That's a great place. Okay, so
they have Wisconsin cheese curds too.
Cheese curds?
By the way, I'm a cheesehead. We forgot to tell the fans out there that I'm a cheesehead.
I think they can hear it.
All right, let's move on to Crystal River.
Well, he's from Wisconsin. Bill wants to tell everybody he's from Wisconsin.
I got my Wisconsin cheese curds at Apalachicola. Satisfy my cheesehead.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And Mike's a coon ass. So, right?
Wisconsin doesn't even have a football team.
We're gonna really get into that.
Now move on to Crystal River. It was my first overnight sail, and Bill Bollinger told me it would be a good idea if I took the 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. shift.
Oh, wait a minute! You didn't say 4 a.m.
10 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Wasn't it like 2 p.m. to 2 a.m.?
He won't do a 4-hour shift. Besides, we were overlapping too because making them longer so that we could get a little combined, interface going. Because we were 50 miles offshore all night long. So, yeah, it was fun.
We downloaded movies and had fun because the weather was very calm.
Tell them that part, Mike. You're not supposed to be watching the movie. You're supposed to be watching the water in front of the boat, not the movie. So we're not supposed to talk about the movies and the texting and all that because. Oops! Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. Coast Guard's
watching.
I
didn't run into anything all night long.
There you go. Well, so it was calm. That's awesome because I've gone calm and I've gone not calm. It's a little more fun when it's calm.
And we did have a little fun when the bottlenose dolphins came around. We had a little bit of phosphorescence kicking up, which was really nice because I'm not used to seeing it that far north. But Mike got to see his first phosphorescence display when the dolphins were swimming around. It was pitch black because there was no moon. The moon was coming up at like 4 a.m. So we got the stars in the Milky Way were like a highway in the sky, the Milky Way. It was awesome.
Oh, my gosh.
Some star viewing that I've ever seen out in the Gulf because of the fact that the moon didn't even rise till 5 a.m,
And it was a meteor shower all night long.
Oh, yeah. That's right. This was I think it was called the Euclid meteor shower or something like that. It was a big one that night.
It went all night long.
About 3 weeks ago.
And that was my first Gulf crossing. My first overnight.
Right. Yeah, it's not too bad, is it?
No, it's okay. It was fun. We didn't think.
Right. That's important.
That's actually my favorite time out there. If you're offshore, it might as well be at night because you don't see anything in the daytime. At night, you see all the entire universe,
Yeah.
And you can't do that in the daytime. Mhm.
That's cool. So you woke up, Bill woke up and you went to sleep. And at what point did you arrive at Crystal
River.
Crystal River? I've never
Crystal
been
River
there.
is a great sailing destination for anybody because it's marked by 2 nuclear power plant towers. They're bigger than Turquoise Condo in Orange Beach by a lot. So you can see them a long way away, and you line up them with all the navigation things on your boat. And so it was easy to find our way in. And here's my advice. First of all, Crystal River was a beautiful town for a 4-day stay. But the pass, when you go from the Gulf into the river for several hundred yards, everybody said, be careful, be careful, be careful. We
Because you're
had
going to hit right on the ground.
1 foot of water in the middle of the channel under our keel for a few hundred yards, but we never hit bottom.
And
No.
you came in at high tide?
What's high tide?
Huh?
What's high tide?
I don't know.
Is there more than one tide?
I'm sure you looked that up before because you're a prepper.
Yeah.
We hit it at low tide coming and going because it's just the way the math works out. But on low tide, we had about half a foot for a few hundred yards from the entrance to the pass into the middle of Crystal River, and we didn't hit bottom. But our theory was it was soft.
Okay, so for the folks listening or watching, what's your draft?
4 feet, 4 inches.
Okay. All right. And I noticed that you got a comment somewhere on social media say, how did you get in there? How did you get in there? Which is what people asked me when I went to the Everglades. But I did local knowledge. I called the marina. I mean, I prepared and I went at
Bill
high tide.
Bollinger. We followed the chart, but I think we went straight. Ask Bill about our approach into the river.
I'd say the best idea would be to just take it on a rising tide and don't worry too much about it because you know at high tide, if you're off 5 feet, you're going to get through. So, yeah, as long as you're on a rising tide, you'll get through eventually. That's the good news. And the river
eventually.
The river was great. There is some issues with deadheads and they're stuck into the bottom, and so you're not really sure which way branches might go off. So you probably want to give those deadheads a little extra room as you're coming up the river.
Deadheads. Define deadheads.
That's a log that looks like somebody's head floating on the top of the water, and underneath is a tree going in God knows which direction.
Now, we
Good
saw
advice,
some of those
Bill.
in Lake Wilcox approaching Apalachicola. Lake, what was it called? Lake Wilcox or Will something?
Close enough.
Yeah. There were reports. Someone actually was talking about it on the radio. I had to go through there.
That was us.
No.
That was
different
us.
time.
They had floating logs. We reported to the boats in front of us and behind us on AIS.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. So how many hours did it take you to go from Georgia's Apalachicola dock to Crystal River?
25 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly.
Okay.
25 hours, 37 minutes, and 12 seconds.
There you go.
All right.
There you have it.
And you decided to bypass Carabel.
Yes.
Okay. And that's a great place. You want to get there.
Well, we have women waiting in some ports and not in others, and there was some going to be waiting for us at Crystal River, namely Mike's wife, and so obviously we had to keep on. We need to stay focused. Let's just say
women just ruin everything, don't they?
No, that's the reason we go.
That's the reason men are alive. Okay, now they keep on going, making that money and everything. Okay, so you got
Crystal River was beautiful, Captain Tinsley.
Okay,
it's a nice
tell us
town.
where did you stay?
There's only one marina in Crystal River. There is only one. It's called Pete's Pier. It's owned by a guy named Pete. And it's a big marina with about 10 transient slips. And most of the people there are liveaboards. And they've got ice. It's a normal marina. Good
Okay.
showers, lots of amenities, but a really far walk to the restaurants and the grocery stores.
How far?
About 3 times Bear Point.
Oh, okay. Like if
where
you're
you
on the
and I
other,
were.
where your boat was or where my boat. Yeah. Okay.
It was like doing a 3 times scaled up 3 times version of that same walk. Yeah.
Okay.
The big horseshoe walk, all the way around. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well, let me just say this: if Mike is going to do this solo ever, you need to get one of those little fold-up bikes. It really helps.
yes,
Little tiny ones. That's what I carry.
I don't have a yacht. I don't have a 320 like you. I have the tiny little 290, and I don't know if I have room to put a bicycle on my sailboat.
It folds up. This little tiny thing. It folds up. Tell us about your boat.
Yeah, they even
My
got
boat?
a bag.
What, you have a bathroom? What'd you say, Bill?
Have a bag. They even have a bag for them, Mike. You can fold the bike up. It just goes in a bag, and you drop it right down underneath the seat in the cockpit. Yeah.
There you go. You put it on the bow or something. You know what? So, your boat, Island Packet 29. What year?
Yes, I have a 1992 Island Packet 25. My last boat was
25.
29.
Okay.
My last boat was a 27, which got destroyed in Hurricane Sally.
No, 2020. Yeah.
But this boat is hull 37 out of 50. They only made 50 29s because I think Island Packet Yachts figured out that they could make 32s and sell them for a lot more money, a lot more practical. But my boat and a 32, I think, are almost identical except the size of the forward cabin. Almost identical. But I have a 1992 29, and it was in Pensacola Shipyard for about a year and a half being refitted. And I think it's in good shape right now.
Year and a half? Did you say year and a half?
A year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yes.
That's incredible.
But it
What'd you
has
say,
new
Bill?
everything. New.
They did everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, tell me about what you did in Crystal River.
Bill Bollinger, you answer that. It was fun.
Yeah.
There's another guy named Petey, who runs his own little manatee service. So we took the ladies for a day of manatee swimming, and that was awesome. It was Petey and
Lindsay.
I forgot her name.
Lindsay,
my cracker doll. Yeah, that's right.
Lindsay.
Yeah. And they did a great job of introducing us to everything we needed to know so we could take the Zodiac ourselves the next day. And we had a fantastic manatee day just with the two of us. Once we had that local knowledge from them, it was fantastic. So that would be highly recommended. That's right at Pete's Marina. They go out of there, and it was called Go Local. Is the name of it.
Peter. The guy's name is Peter, and his boat is Go Local.
Yeah. So shout out to Petey out there at
right.
Yes.
Okay. So that for people who don't know, I think from Port St. Joe over to, I don't know, Tarpon Springs, it's all known as the Forgotten Coast. And it is like stepping back in time, all those areas.
Yes.
But there's plenty of marinas and kind of a small town feel, Carabel, Apalachicola, Port St. Joe, Tarpon Springs, big Greek community. And then, I've not been to Crystal River, but there's also Steinhatchee. All those places are really cool if you just want to hang out and kind of experience old Florida, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that was really differentiated it from any other coastal cruising trip because you're not pulling into banks of condos and
Yeah. And
yeah,
big yachts.
it was actually kind of refreshing. Yeah.
Right. Because if you go down to Clearwater, it all changes.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're sailing back, if you're even 15 miles offshore, all the way from Panama City to Pensacola, it's not even nighttime anymore. It's like there's a sunrise coming on the north, on the north all night long.
Yeah.
Just slow, So that was nice.
A lot of light pollution.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you went 30 miles, you could see those nuclear towers at Crystal River from 30 miles out still. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a long
and you found those on the chart. So how long were you there?
I don't remember. 5 days. 4 days.
4 days. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days.
Bill was chill.
And
He doesn't even remember how long.
Captain Tinsley, just to clarify, there's only one marina you can park in right now. There's another marina, but it's kind of not in operation. But the one marina that's there is Pete's Pier, and it's okay. It's got good facilities, but Crystal River only has, but it's a tiny little town. You can walk the whole town if you had to. But the one facility there, I thought they were, pretty nice compared to the other places I've been.
Okay. You'd recommend it?
Yes.
Okay. For Pete's Pier. Okay. And so you were there about 4 or 5 days. What else did you do? You were there a long time.
4 days. We went, the day after we got there, the girls showed up. We went on the guided trip for manatees, and some of the girls with us had never had a mask, snorkel, fin, wetsuit, and that was fun. And the Crystal River is the manatee capital of the entire universe. There's thousands of them in the winter, and only hundreds of them once it warms up. There's about 20 springs in Crystal River where the manatees go to stay warm in the winter months and drink fresh water. And then they go out in the bays and eat grass. In the summer, they spread out in all over Florida, but a lot of them stay in that area, and the professional guides know where they are. And Bill and I use Peter from local knowledge to show us around this tiny little bay. Then we went back the next day and did it ourselves out of our dinghy, which was much more fun. There are 5 big springs there you can snorkel in, and the water is stunning, absolutely crystal clear. It was Three Sister Springs, which is a national park, Hunter Spring, which is the other big one, House Spring, and then Kings Bay Spring. Is that all of them, Bill?
That was the main ones. Yep. I think that's the ones that are worth seeing for sure.
Wow. So, were there any restaurants you went out to?
Cellar Seafood.
Huh?
Cellar Seafood.
Cellar Seafood.
There's a seafood. It's not a restaurant. It's a seafood processing plant that sells apparently 50% of the stone crabs in America. They catch their own stone crabs. They catch their own oysters. They catch their own fish. And their restaurant is a tiny little part of the seafood plant, but it was very well recommended. We went there.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had a great grouper Reuben.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that before. That sounds perfect right now.
I could eat one right now too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, anything else you did there? Anything else you recommend or want?
Well, There's one hotel on the water. It's called Port. What's it called, Bill? Port something.
I can't remember either.
It's called the Port Marina. Port something Marina, and it's a hotel from almost 100 years ago, made out of concrete and cinder blocks. But it is in a beautiful place, and they have a
Wow.
nice restaurant called Social Hour or Social Club or something like that. And it was lovely. We went there. Um, it's but there's one nice hotel on the water, Port something, and they have a great restaurant.
The gazebo bar was great. We watched the Kentucky Derby from their gazebo bar, which is like a little peninsula out into the water, and the manatees are swimming right out there in front too at the same time. But yeah, that was a good place.
And that's when your wife came, and that's when you stayed in the hotel, right, Mike?
Oh no, the girls stayed in the hotel. We were banished back to the boat. Banished back to the boat, but it worked out just fine.
Yeah, the guys on the boat, the girls, the gals, and the
The
all
Port
right.
P-O-R-T, the Port Hotel, nice hotel on the water, and I think it's the only hotel in Crystal River on the water.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
So what did you do? Is there anything else you want people to know about Crystal River? And we're leaving something out. Shopping, restaurants, bars.
If you can go with your own stuff to the 3 or 4 big springs and swim around, it is stunning, beautiful. And local knowledge will tell you where to go to find the manatees.
Local knowledge is important. Tip of the day, local knowledge.
And there's a lot of them.
Manatees are local knowledge.
Yes.
The local knowledge. In fact, some of the local knowledge even use drones to spot the manatees before they go. They don't have to hunt for them. They just use the drones, and they see them with the drones.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the manatees that would see further down, Central Florida and Southwest Florida, do you think they came from up there?
Oh,
all of them.
Yeah, all the manatees there during the cold months, and then by the time we got there, the peak was over, and there's about 30 of them that are actually residential manatees. That's
They hold down the fort. Okay. All right. So you guys had to come back. Bill had some engagement to make in Chicago, of all places, right?
I was catching a flight to Chicago, and then I drove back down with my dog 2 days later. So Is this
the dog that your ex had for all this time, or?
No, this is Reva now. She's a new one. That one I got dog napped and never got it back. So now I have Reva, and Reva works the art center. So a shameless plug for the Orange Beach Coastal Arts Center, and you'll meet Reva. She's the greeter dog there, and enjoy that nice little something different in Orange Beach, the Coastal Arts Center. Fast blowing clay and art all over the place that you can take part in. Yeah.
Now, that's good. I want to say one thing before you start the trip back. We have to do one thing. We have to introduce tonight's sponsor, which is me. So I got to pay the bills, right? Okay. So I am, in case you didn't know, I'm a real estate agent in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. And I'm with, my name's Tinsley Myrick, Remax of Orange Beach. And I sell Gulfront condos, Gulfront houses, even non-waterfront houses. And if you enjoy this podcast, on Thursday nights live is the Getting Beachy real estate / lifestyle podcast that I do with a colleague of mine. Her name is Dana Tapia. We have a good time. And if you want to learn about the area and a little bit of real estate and a little bit of lifestyle stuff, come on and check us out on Thursday night, 6:00. There we go. Thank you for allowing me to do that. That's a little shameless plug for me, tonight's sponsor. Okay. So I do want to let you finish on the Arts Center. Did you leave anything out? Because that is important to tell.
I left out one. There's also it's also a phenomenal wedding venue as well now. You can rent the art center and the whole beachfront property on the canal front, I should say, for weddings, and it's great. We have weddings there almost every weekend.
A little bit of trivia: that building is the original Orange Beach Hotel. That is where Orange Beach started. It wasn't on the beach. It was over in that area, and it's very historical. You knew that, didn't you, Bill?
Fisherman's Bunkhouse Hotel. It wasn't even like a hotel. It was basically a bunkhouse. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like that whole area down Canal Road right there was the original a settlement, and you had to come by boat. Like same with Gulf Shores, you had to come by boat. There was some little bitty trail that you could maybe ride a horse down, which is the backcountry trail now. In case you didn't know that, that was the only way to get there. And even when they had cars wouldn't make it down there. Did you know that, Mike?
No.
Yeah. So both people travel by boat. Little bit of trivia about Orange Beach, Gulf Shores. Okay, and that building is a historical building down there. You see old pictures of people swimming in the bay over there.
I want to say that building went up in 1920, which is really, really long. But I remember when we tore it down to rebuild the new one, we used a lot of the pieces to try to assimilate the architecture and such. And it was 100, I swear it was 100 years old.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Gulf Shores and Orange Beach were settled around the turn of the century.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the trip back.
Much faster.
Was even better.
The first favorable wind we had in 12 days.
First favorable wind? Okay. How was the water conditions, the waves?
Perfect.
Oh, man. Did you have a north wind?
No, we had a southeasterly, and so we had quartering swells most of the time off of the port stern. Yeah,
not my favorite.
Yeah, especially when they came up to about the 2 to 4 or a couple of 6s here or there. It was great for Mike to get his hands on the wheel. Because the autopilot doesn't really like that kind of swell. It deals with it, but it works so hard and it takes so much efficiency out of the boat that Mike really saw. I think the biggest thing that he saw about steering was when the autopilot is nearly as efficient as hand steering. And it's a lot more fun and stable when you're hand steering too, right,
yes.
Mike?
Yes. Yeah. And having
a
master Coast Guard captain to teach me how to do that was a plus.
Yeah. So both of you are Coast Guard captains. All three of us here.
But I'm a Cub Scout. He's an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, that's right. Lifelong sailor.
A bit retired too. I still have my certificate, but because I like to follow rules. I've been traveling the world so much off of boats that I would probably have to retest because I don't have hours to.
And you're an honest guy.
Yeah. So I'm one of those guys, and then that way nobody can put me to work either because I'm trying not to work as much as possible. So.
But we made the 370 miles back much faster than the 370 miles going down there because we were going into the wind most of the way down there. And on the way back, we probably averaged 7.5.
Wow. So you went to Apalachicola first?
We went to Apalachicola, spent one night
at the Marina.
Creek Marina. Got a good shower. I actually washed his dirty clothes. And then we went out of government.
Whoa. It's pretty, isn't it?
No, we didn't go out of government cut. We went up the river.
Whoa. Now go back to Scipio. The laundry's free.
Yeah.
He was acting like he paid for your laundry.
No, but I did the work.
Did the laundry. He didn't pay for it.
Okay.
I did the work. But listen,
But he-
coming back, heading north up the
Well, hold
Apalachicola
on,
River.
Scipio. Let's go back to Scipio. That's an awesome place.
Yes,
They
it
got
was
the
fun.
restaurant. They got the store there. The people there are real nice. Forgot
That's
the
right.
girl's name at the desk. They have the river keepers there. Did you go in and talk to those guys?
We went on the boardwalk.
I mean, you talk to the river keepers there. They got fuel. They have
There's a boardwalk there that takes you into old time when they cut down cypress, and all they had there was cypress, scallops, and shrimping. And there's a boardwalk there. It's a national park. Bill and I walked to the end of it.
I didn't know about that boardwalk. I
Yeah.
wish I'd known. I'll catch it
Yeah.
next time.
Keep walking up the street past Scipio, and it goes up to the University Extension, and there's a little path off of there that leads to a fantastic boardwalk in the jungle. Goes out to the marsh on the outside. That you.
Now I have rode my bike all the way to the end of that road, and it comes out to a park. Is
You know where
it near?
all the derelict shrimp boats are tied up in that basin, that little yacht basin.
There's a
It's
boat yard there. There's a boat, right? Yeah, there's a basin there.
Yeah, there's a yacht basin with about 40 decrepit shrimp boats, maybe half a dozen really nice ones. Yeah,
Okay, and the trail is near there.
right off the corner of that thing, right off the far corner of that thing. You can go in one side of it and come out the back side of it and around. Mm-hmm.
All right, so you heard it here, right here on Salty Podcast.
That's right.
Okay.
Look for the
Now-
University of Florida Extension in Apalachicola, and the trailhead is at the beginning of their driveway.
Okay.
Right side.
All right. Wacky wants to get out of the cut, so let's let him tell about that. So you come out, got fueled up.
We sailed straight back. We one night in Apalachicola, sailed straight back to Pensacola Pass, made it home in time to have breakfast.
All right.
Yeah.
How long did that take you to go from Scipio to your? I saw the video. Your wife was videoing from your dock, and you said, "Honey, I'm home."
Maybe 29 hours.
Yes,
Mhm.
How tired were you?
Not very.
it was fun. We weren't tired. We were ready to do another trip.
We had good
All right.
sleep. Yeah.
I'll have to tag
In
along
fact,
on
we're
that one.
talking about the next one. We're going to go, Bill and I are going to follow your boat to Fort Jefferson this fall after hurricane season.
Oh wow! Yeah, we
There.
need to make sure our boats aren't going to get hurt this hurricane season.
After hurricane season.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
yeah.
We got that extra foot, so we might have to hook on, slow you down a little.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So when do you think about leaving?
Whenever
After hurricane season.
September. I mean, okay, November 1st.
Yes, after hurricane season.
All right. So I've talked to 2 or 3 island packet owners on the podcast in this area, Panama City, Gulf Breeze, different boats, and they want to have like a little roundup at
Fort McCree.
yeah. So we need to do that. And Bill, that includes you,
All right then.
because he has to run the air if his wife comes. He has to run the generator.
Oh yeah.
So did you guys didn't have to anchor at all?
No.
No, never did. We never touched the anchor the entire time. Either
Okay.
one. Yeah.
So you don't have any good anchor secrets for us?
Nope. None. Just be glad you got 2, even if you never have to use the second one.
Okay.
You will.
All right.
Someday.
Well,
You'll
I
need
want.
that.
We'll have to organize something up here soon to go over to Fort McCree, as Mike says. And everybody watching, I want everybody to tune in next week, because last week I had the boat girl on. I don't know if y'all heard. Y'all need to watch that. She grew up on a sailboat from age 0 to 19. Her mom was pregnant with her, and they spent winters in Bahamas and summers in Virginia, always on living on a boat full time.
That poor girl.
Yeah, it was, and she wrote a book about it, and you can listen to it. It's really cool. Next week I have, this was recommended by the girl that was on last week, Melanie Neal, the boat girl. She said she's a hippie, small sailboat sailor, kind of punk. So, and she sells boats too. So she's going to be on next week. So everybody have to tune in for that.
All right.
I hope y'all will come back. We'll have some more stories to share. Thank you for being here.
Okay.
And how do we always end? How did I always end my videos, Mike? Salty
Let Bill do
abandon.
it for once.
Okay. Salty abandon. Out.